Informs, the largest association for the decision and data sciences, provides the following audio content to journalists for their use in reporting with proper attribution. What follows are 4 questions and responses from David Simchi-Levi. He's a professor of engineering systems at Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and he's the head of the MIT Data Science Lab. He's also a member of Informs. Question 1. What is the current status of the supply chain in terms of digitization and modernization?
I want to distinguish between the status of the supply chain before the pandemic and during the pandemic. Before the pandemic, very few companies focused on supply chain digitization. And the reason for that was because the perception is that it requires extensive financial investment. It will take 4 to 5 years. It requires instrumentation of every facility and every product, and companies were reluctant to invest in supply chain digitization. But the pandemic changed everything. Companies realized that with moderate financial investment, by combining available data, advanced analytics, and some automation, by modifying existing processes and designing new processes, they can achieve almost all the benefits of supply chain digitization in a relatively short period of time, between 12 to 18 months. And so what we see today is completely different than what we saw pre-pandemic.
Question 2. What will it take to digitize and modernize the supply chain?
The work that we have done with a variety of companies in high-tech, retail, appliances, and consumer packaged goods manufacturing companies, allow us to identify 4 key capabilities for important in supply chain digitization. They include a move from consensus forecast and into unified view of demand, where data across a variety of sources, internal, external, macroeconomic data, some social media data, is used to generate a single view of demand, replacing one-size-fits-all strategies that is used by many companies with supply chain segmentation, different segment of customers, and we design for them a specific supply chain strategy. Smart planning, where companies use data and analytics to plan for the next 80 weeks, week by week, product by product. And finally, smart execution. Smart execution recognizes that we may have a great plan, but there are deviations from the plan, there are supply disruption, there are demand disruption. In smart execution, we try to quickly identify the deviation and the disruption and effectively respond to this disruption and deviation. All of these capabilities, the 4 capabilities that I just described, are all driven by data, advanced analytics, and automation.
Question 3. What is the expected outcome if proper steps are taken to digitize and modernize the supply chain?
As I mentioned, we have implemented these capabilities in multiple companies in a variety of industries. We saw 4 different significant outcomes. The first is better forecast, the ability to improve forecast by between 10 to 20%. The ability to improve forecast allow us to improve service level, which implies better customer experience. The ability to improve forecast allow companies to reduce lost sales, which implies higher revenue. And finally, the better planning allow companies to reduce inventory and as a result, significantly lower cost in their business.
Question 4. What is the impact of supply chain modernization resilience and the ability to recover from disruption?
Excellent question, and this received a lot of focus immediately after the pandemic. But my team at MIT started working on supply chain digitization way before the pandemic, after events like the tsunami in Japan and the flood in Thailand of 2011. We developed a new way, a digital twin that allow us to identify hidden risk in the supply chain and as a result, mitigate and respond effectively to any disruption. Few companies followed our framework, our concept, our technology, but everything changed since the beginning of the pandemic. In mid-February of 2020, I submitted a short paper to Harvard Business Review where I predicted that what's happening in China, remember, mid-February, the COVID-19 was hitting only China, not North America and not Europe. I predicted that this will have a big impact on supply chain in North America and in Europe by mid-March. And this is exactly what happened. And immediately after that publication and the realization that our technology was very accurate, we saw a flood of interest in analytics, in digital twin for supply chain resiliency. And so supply chain resiliency and the ability to recover from disruption are highly affected by the use of technologies that we all focus on: data, analytics, and digital twin.
Please see the audio content release posted alongside this clip for attributions, soundbite length, and transcriptions. Any other questions can be sent to Ashley Smith, Inform's Public Relations Specialist at asmith@informs.org.